Hello everyone, I'm Colin. As you can see, something different going on today. About a year ago, I embarked on building a chair, and I spent many hours on it over the year, and recently I abandoned it because I just didn't like the design, the things that I had done with it. And I've been encouraged by a number of people to post this video regardless of the fact that I didn't finish the chair. And because you could learn something from what I did, but even more than that, maybe your ideas, maybe you have suggestions that would help me, because I'd really like to go back and rebuild, redesign, and make this chair, and maybe you have some other ideas that could help me along the way. So have a look at the video. I'm going to try and keep it to 8 or 9 minutes, and at the end you'll be able to make your suggestions in the comments below. As you can see, I've already pre-cut the wood, so I'm not going to make you sit through all of that. Now, this wood was cut, I think, about 4 months ago. And when we cut wood, we always want to give it a week or 2 or a month or a long period of time for that wood to sort of position itself where it wants to. It dries a bit, it moves, and now is a perfect time to do that. As it turns out, back 4 months ago, I crashed my bicycle after 13,000 miles of no incidents. I'm going over a little wooden bridge, and the next thing I do, I wake up and I've got a concussion and some cracked ribs, which is maybe not so bad timing because it gave the wood that sort of time to do the movement that it needs to. So I still have lots of cutting to do, so we'll show you some of that detail. So I wanted to show you what I'm starting out with. I took this picture. From this picture, I reproduced a full-size plan. Here's the full-size plan that I made of it, and it's in pencil, and the lines are fairly light, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. But there are certain things that I know of, because it's a chair, that are kind of standard sizes. And the one thing that the chair in the picture had is a straight from the front to the back. It's pretty evident that that's straight across. Typically, chairs have a little bit of an arc like this. I'm exaggerating, but that's what I did on this chair. I've actually made it slope to the back. It makes it more comfortable to sit in a chair like that. The other thing this chair does not have is, when you sit in a chair, the back of the chair is usually narrower than the front. Maybe not by very much, but a little bit. This chair is straight all the way from the beginning to from the front to the back, and I'm going to leave that detail the way it is. So now I've just taken some thin plywood and I'm making a template of this back, and you can see how it has a little bit of a arch to it, or a little bit of a angle to it. So I'm duplicating that. So I have my big tapering jig here, and here's the angles that I want to cut, and I think you can see where I've drawn the line. So how do you align that with the blade and get an accurate alignment? Well, here's a quick way of doing that. What I have is a piece of plywood here, and I picked plywood because it doesn't move, and I'm going to put that, it's parallel, I've just cut it, it's parallel on both sides here. So what I'm going to do, I'm laying it in here, in this area here, and now all I need to do, and you see I've got these stops here as well, and all I need to do now, I'm looking down from here, and I can align this line to just the outside of the back of this board. And because this board is parallel to the blade, it means that I can align that exactly, quickly and easily, with so that that's going to track on the blade. Okay, I'm all set up. Let's see how accurate I am. Yeah, that worked out well. I wanted to make sure that I left the edge, and I'm just going to plane that down and then sand that down to the line. So I'll carry on and do the rest. So I've cut the 2 back supports, as you can see, and this one I've planed it down. Now I've just set one of the front legs on the tapering jig here, and I'm going to cut one of the tapers off. Okay, now that I have the chair pretty much together, now comes the tricky part, and that is this handhold, I guess it's an arm, that's going to go from the front to the back. And what I've done, I've been able to trace on a piece of plywood what this wood's going to look like. I've got the start and the stop down there, and what I'm going to do, I've got some wood already pre-cut, so I'll put this on and trace that and cut that out on the bandsaw. When you're working with curves, you have to watch when you try to duplicate them. I've got this little piece of wood here, and it's right at the edge here, but watch when I draw it all the way across there because it's not level. See, when I bring it down here, look at the gap. See the big gap there is down here? Then there's a big gap here. Then up here, it runs up over. I can feel it on the other side. So when you can't just duplicate, you can't always just duplicate a curve like this. So what I'm going to do, the best way to do that, I'm just going to take my marking gauge and I'm going to double side tape that on there, and I'll be able to run that then on the piece here that I've just sanded, and you can see the line all the way along, and I'll be able to do that all the way along and keep it perpendicular to the line all the way around, and that's going to give me the best. I may have to smooth out some parts, but that will give me the best line all the way along. Okay, I've lined these legs up, and the marks that I made on them, I took them and put them together, marked them both from the template, and then opened them back up like that. So that's where they sit right now. I'm just going to mark them. Well, that actually lined up better than I expected. It was pretty easy. And look, it looks like they're actually centered this way as well. So that's perfect. Go ahead and drill all those pilot holes for those dowels. Okay, well, there's that second hole. Let's see if these line up. They should. Oh, look at that. Perfect. There, that's excellent. And just so it doesn't move, I'm going to put that marker in that plug in there. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, very good. Well, there's the two sides of the chair, and I've been working at this for a few days. There's been a little bit of fitting that I've needed to do here, but everything, you can see the legs all line up, everything nicely lines up. So the next thing I need to do is to figure out the back, and I wanted to put a padded back in, but I don't think there's enough room. I think I should have made the chair a little bit wider. So anyway, I'm going to test that out and see what we're going to do for a back on this. Well, I've made some progress here. I've glued up the two sides and they look good. I've done a quick sitting test and I'm not happy, and I'm going to show you. When I sit in this chair, I'm finding it's not as comfortable as I hoped it might be. And I knew when I started building this that this is probably going to be a prototype, because when you draw a plan, they don't always work out. So, and I kind of knew that. So that's about where the chair is going to sit. But look at when I sit in this chair, where my arms are. It really is not, this is not a comfortable sitting chair. And you can't put your arms at your side because it's too narrow. And when you sit them here, they kind of just not comfortable. Because the sides are glued up, there's really not much I can do. So the only thing I can do, I'm going to remake these, make them a little bit wider. And because the chair is a little bit narrower than what it could have been, I'm not going to have a chance to put a padded seat back here, I don't think. So I'm going to have to maybe make a ladder back or something there. So my prototype is changing as we go along here. Well, if you watch that video, you've seen this, and rather than dismantle it or change it, I've just left it the way it is. And I have a couple of ideas on my own, and naturally, I believe it needs to be wider this way or deeper this way, but it also needs to be deeper this way than what I had. But I'm also wondering about the back. Do you think the back is too high? I'd really be interested in your comments on this and maybe give me some ideas. I know I need to redraw the design and sort of go back to basics, but I'm just interested to hear what you have to say. So thanks for watching the video and thanks for commenting.